the Oaks, which has developed into quite an interesting race. Jamaica the favourite, ahead of Happy Hannah down the bottom, Valley Girl, Sophia Rosa, and Capella all in the mix.
Wow, so he's backing this up, Jamaica, off decent.
Good race to back up off because they've gone very, very, very slow.
But she did some work early, so
16 and a half lengths below average for the first section, or for the first 1200.
She's doing the was it Sunday Rose? There's an Oaks winner that followed a very similar path to her, Rosehill Guineas AJC Derby, into this race, and she's well set up. You know, she's got a mile and a half run under her belt at Randwick. She may have to chase, self-esteem, likes to lead, likes to control, and Believe may have other ideas after not participating like she could do.
Cheerio to the builders over the side.
It has to happen. Anyway,
so we've got Believe and Self-Esteem that'll take a piece of the lead. Jamaica Handy, Single Gaze Handy. The Sorceress was positive the other day and will sort of posse up from her lowish draw. Diamond Maid midfield, Valley Girl midfield, and Aurora's Star sort of poking up on a limb.
Mm-hmm. All right,
it's
BZ.
Honest.
Yeah,
it's honest.
All right, BZ. What are you? How are you assessing it?
I'm leaning towards Happy Hannah here.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what she did in the Vinery Stud Stakes, which is traditionally the best lead up for this Oaks. I'm respecting Jamaica, but I'm just not sure how much is going to be left in the tank. I just don't know if sort of going against the boys in the Guineas and then Derby and then now back up against I just don't know what's going to be there. And if there is this type of genuine rolling speed, I just think it may leave her a little bit vulnerable at the finish. And if that's the case,
that's a worry.
I think Happy Hannah showed last start that she's up to this level, and I like horse on an upward spiral going into this race. I'm respecting Sophia Rosa, the Kiwi.
Didn't realise that we'd seen her before.
Yeah, she looks a real sort of genuine mile and a half filly on sort of affected ground. But yeah, I'm not sure about that Hanesta. This prep block, she looks like she's out and out for the 25.
Well, both her and Ambient seems to have disappeared.
And that's sort of making, and that's then giving me a bit of a negative on
your man.
Vanessa's going okay.
Yeah.
Your man, Jay
It's just giving me a little bit of a negative on Jamaica from the spring, but her run in the sort of Derby has been honest and good. So I was just looking for something a little bit fresh, and I like where Happy Hannah's sort of come from and what she's doing.
She's done amazing things.
Yeah.
A maiden winner 3 starts back, and she's going to challenge for favouritism here because she's got that
Boom finish.
well, the likability
And Peter Paul and
factor.
Mary and Blake Chin.
Yeah, she was a
Bred to
monstrous run in the lead up.
And her mother was an Oaks winner, Absolute Joy.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Maybe an Australasian Oaks or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely was the one that won the AJC Oaks. Look, I think it's a match race, Jamaica and Happy Hannah, but that's where I'm coming from.
I think 4 clear chances: Jamaica, Happy Hannah. The 2 I want to play are Hanesta and Capella. I thought Capella's run was huge the other day. I don't like barrier 15 with Opie Boston. I think that maybe cause trouble, as he might be able to play very early. Something can happen good from there. Capella is a horse I'm really interested in. I thought its run the other day, it has had the 2400 metre run, which is a big tick, and its run the other day was outstanding at Rosehill, doing things you shouldn't be doing at Rosehill, mainly because the Glenster was on it for plenty for the place. Capella I thought was, if it had a draw to go, I'd be very keen to do it, but I think Anesta's looking at how it's parading, looking at how it's progressing in its runs and all that. I think it's ready to go bingo tomorrow, and a little bit of give in the ground is not against it. So they're the 2 that I'm interested in from a betting point of view, but I think Jamaica and Happy Hannah are the obvious other ones. They're the 4 picks.
There's a bit here, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
For an Oaks,
there is, especially when we were talking about it a few weeks ago, going, oh God.
Yeah,
it's developed into a beauty. All right, that's about it. What is a beauty is there they are. Tempt Me Not was a beauty for everybody across the board, wasn't it? It's probably one of the best found 20-to-1 chances across the board anywhere, wasn't it?
That was, another 5 minutes it would have been 40s on the fair.
Yeah, go Glenn. Anyway, there they are founded as well too. That's
like
another
a 10s on shot.
Yeah.
Well, he just sprang out of the barrier like a gazelle.
Where was the speed in that race? They're just all...
Well, it was being reserved later for the 1200 metre race. Where is it? Secret Agenda in the last race tomorrow.
Yes, okay. But anyway, there they are. If you've had $50 on all the tips over the last 2 weeks, what all right yesterday, Brent? Do you remember
the 2.5 in front?
Yeah, something like that. It's just really been phenomenal the last few weeks, and it'll continue tomorrow with the best of the best around from the Punter Show. Only $10 a week, actually. There they are. So if you just want a good little set on a Saturday morning, normally about 5 from Sydney, 5 from Melbourne, a couple from Brisbane, maybe one from Kembla or somewhere a bit out wider. It's just a correlation of the best from all of the good judges you see on the Punter Show.
Synthesis.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's the melting pot. It's a crucible.
Crucible, very good.
Yes, lovely. There they are, $10 a week. It's been winning ever since its instalments and on a white hot roll at the moment. So get on. Race 6 is the Oaks. Race 7 is the Sydney Cup, and it is Libran, Who Shot the Barman, fighting out Favouritism, and Grand Marshal there. No surprise. Walla, 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 and pretty much controlling the betting.
Well, $2 million race, and they could just about give his connections $1.5 million here.
Yeah.
It sort of could have been better, couldn't it?
Big time.
For a $2 million race, yes, of course it could have.
Anyway,
You could have got more than 11 runners.
Cafe Society I have leading. DIC's stablemate Handy. Libran won't be too far away. Galante was ridden forward in a crawling race in the Manion Cup. I don't see him as naturally being there, but could be persuaded to be there. Who Shot the Barman midfield, and the others back off them. I thought that Libran was very well set up for this race. Did a great job the other day to win under adverse circumstances.
I think A, B, and C are all very, very well set up for this race. That's what he does.
Completely agree. I can't see much outside of the Waller trio that are going to that you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me. But there's the other side. He's got the race by the balls, hasn't he?
All right,
Grand Marshal to me sees the one that hasn't had the acid screwed down.
Yeah.
Complete.
Was a surprisingly good lead-up run, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Like even you go back and watch his barrier trial in February, it was like, wow, you've come back a good horse. Like you're not a come back a good horse. You've come back in good order. You're already he's already a good horse. But and then it was just build every run. He said the 4 grounding efforts, gets to the 2 mile, won this race last year. McDonald goes on, drops down in weight, handles Sting out of the track. Like it's like tick, 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 tick. The only horse that sort of then lines up through him to me was Al Moon Quith, who beat him in the Sandown Cup at level weights last year. But Grand Marshal was coming off the back of quite an unlucky performance. Was it coming out the back of the Melbourne Cup? Where he got smashed in the
top three all raced in the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, so he got poleaxed in the Melbourne Cup and then backed up. So he may not have been at his absolute peak for that Sandown run. But Waller staying race
in Sydney. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised either way. Who Shot the Barman, Lee Brand?
Well, I'm pick 3. There you go. Work it out. I'm Who Shot the Barman. I just think his was bring the sense of timing, the coming together. The run in the BMW was awesome. Beach in Chris Waller, Who Shot the Barman, 3,200 metres. Away we go. So do that. But I want to give it. Obviously, you only marked it at 50 to 1, and you've marked Libran very, very short. Mark, I said $1.80 for those who are interested in.
Wow. You can't just give away all the gold.
No, well, there it is. See why? See what other prices the other horses are. 50 to 1 DIC. I thought he was entitled to a bit of forgiveness with the run. Now the run under the belt, backing up. I know it didn't. It gave up the other day, but I expect it to improve.
It was heavily backed last week, and
How?
What?
I just don't understand how, like, off the preparation, how it could be so heavily.
Well,
supported.
because it was going to be heavily supported the 2 weeks prior, and
what I'm saying is that's exactly my point, and it's now 50s. So there's a bit of a discrepancy there in the price. So there you go.
That's it.
Okay, that's the Sydney Cup. It looks like it's Chris Waller's. All right, moving along. The Coolmore Legacy Stakes.
This is the Queen of the Turf.
The Queen of the Turf. Why is it the Legacy? Oh, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Okay, it is Ascadelia, his favourite, backing up from the Donny. Zambar next pick, and Risque down the bottom is thereabouts, and plenty of others around the $10, $15 mark.
So, is this going to be serious? Because surely the connections of Vergara are looking at its run last week and going, we've got to try and do that again.
Off you go, from the inside gate.
Big ant.
Off your pop.
Yeah, but I mean, this time it gets a 6 metre rail.
Yeah, off your
You know,
pop. Yeah, exactly.
Surely the intention will be, look how well she held on,
Yeah.
being allowed to roll.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. Up you go.
But you've got Miss Rose Delago, who's likes to control races. So she's coming across and looking to chop Vergara off, but I think that Vergara gets soiled along the inside. Batawea and Coronation Shallon will be looking for positions, particularly Batawea from her high draw. Just ahead of midfield, I had Suavito, Artistry, and Supara looking to get in. Supara, of course, led one of the lead-ups, and it looks relatively urgent.
Yep.
And
Where's Solicitor?
where is Solicitor? We don't need Solicitor.
No, she's gone.
So the favourite does appear to get a race run to order. What have you got to say about it, Brett?
Well, I've been in her corner previously as preparation, but I'm not thinking she's the same value on the backup after a Doncaster run on that testing track
And you
last
speak
week.
of as Cadelia, obviously.
Yes. Where she's had weight advantage, where now she gives away her weight advantage to a few rivals like Miss Rose
She's up
Delago.
7 kilos.
Exactly. Well, not up 7. I'm not too concerned about up to 7. I'm concerned about the weights she carried in Melbourne, where she was 3 kilos under Miss Rose Delago, and now she's meeting her on level weights for only beating her 0.3 lengths. That's where my concern at the weights come from, not going from the 50 to the 57. But I thought Suavito seemed big odds here at $11. I'm happy to forgive a run in the Australian Cup where she was 1,400 to 2,000 metres. Previous to that, she'd beaten the boys at weight for age at Group 1 level in the CF4 stakes, and then wasn't beaten far in the Futurity at Group 1 weight for age level. I don't know how many of these mares would be competitive at Group 1 weight for age against the likes of Lucky Hustler, Hucklebuck, Turn Me Loose, Stratum Stars. So that was my starting point. Suavito with respecting. Look, they're giving away significant, just the way I look at form at the ratings and level weights, they're giving away significant advantage. Lady Lafay, Heavens Above, Bartawea to an extent, but they were 3 horses that interested me at big odds.
Lady Lafay. Voila, timing.
Sense of timing.
Sense of timing again too. I knew when we saw this horse first up, there was going to be a race that comes out and goes, there it was. It was probably going to be this race. Both the runs have been great for it. It was out wide, out the back at Rosehill the other day, came down the outside, was really, really starting to get going on the line. I think she's very well set up, and Huey can get a chance to atone by cutting through the field, going there and coming out and going,
Oh,
Hubert.
you're bet noir, Huey.
Up you go, Huey. Anyway, Lady Lafay, and I think Ascadelia is the obvious thing, and she's a very good horse. She's been doing great things, and I think she continued to be. She's a deserved favourite, and I don't think a hopeless price around about that almost 3-1 mark that she is.
Yeah,
I
she
think that seems a fair
right.
price, and she definitely won't. I won't be losing on the race if she wins, unless she's backed into even money by the time I get back from Manning.
Yeah, honourable mention for yet another time, Slightly Sweet, who I'm itching for her to do something, and she's going to be 50 to 1 tomorrow. So just an honourable mention there to Slightly Sweet.
Yes, Brent, you can talk.
It was just a point that I. It was like a light bulb
He's
moment.
getting ready to
Okay, here we go.
It was an interesting story in the paper this morning that I read. Damien Oliver hasn't won a race in Sydney since 2014 and hasn't won a Group 1 in Sydney for 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just surprising. I just thought, look, he doesn't ride
When
every
did
week.
he do his stretch?
Well, that'd probably have a fair bit to do with it.
Well, when was it, though? But when did he win the Melbourne Cup? We
It
won
was 2013.
2000. He won on
13,
Fiorente.
14.
So we've had 3 since then, haven't we?
14, 15, no, two since
2 since then. Yeah. So that's not including the stretch.
No.
That's after the stretch.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was interesting. And he's on Petite Falou, Jamaica, and Ascadelia here.
Yeah.
5 years though since he's had a Group 1.
Could well be. He just doesn't cope with Glenn in the Glenbury race. What are we on, Dave?
It was just, it's a nothing, not a nothing stat, but it was like, it doesn't really make any difference.
It's a big stat, I think.
But then when I read it, I was surprised. I went,
yeah, because I mean, D. Oliver.
he doesn't come here for shit rides.
No.
He only comes to Sydney generally
No.
for things that have got a chance.
Exactly. Oh well. So another his profit on turnover would be horrendous. Anyway. All right. So Escadelia, and I really want to back Lady Lafay. Mark.
Fair enough. 3 Escadelia on top, and as I mentioned, I have a soft spot tomorrow for Slightly Sweet.
Race 9 is the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, worth $45 million, and the favourite is the United States from Criterion.
What the fuck is the United States doing here? It was supposed to be spelling.
They realised it was a shithouse race for $5 million and decided.
What, so they got it out of the paddock last?
After it won, they said they were considering it.
They were considering it. They were going to make a decision.
Sorry, it lives in the paddock anyway, doesn't it?
Yes, I'm sure it leaves with probably 13 different masseuses per horse, isn't it?
Heat lamps.
Okay, Mark.
I wrote a couple of weeks ago, last week I think, that the last 5 BMW winners have failed to win a race since. So Preferment carries that one.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too. And as we mentioned about lead-ups and progressions into this race, again, the Sydney Carnival, it's got so many different holes in its lead-ups. And
it's getting worse, Dal, because the Queen Elizabeth always used to be led up by you either came out of the Doncaster or back from the BMW.
Yeah. With a gap between it.
Yeah. Isn't that what you're getting here, really?
Well, but you're getting relatively few from the BMW and the Doncaster.
But you're a 2-week gap from 2400 back, so there used to be a 3-week gap, and now you're either backing up from the Doncaster, and there's or the 2,000 metre run of the Rampart. Which is a while ago, which isn't a 2-week thing. So if they're going to start fabricating carnivals, maybe fabricate the lead up into them as well too. Anyway,
all right. But I mean, now trainers have decided that we just use the Ranvit as a lead up, which is
but it wasn't even used as a lead up because it wasn't intended.
Yeah, but I mean, we've got the situation where Haraki, Criterion, the United States. I mean, they're fickle.
Those three are. And it was always on Criterion and Haraki's radar this race. Yeah. So there's your lead up.
Yeah.
A 2,000 metre race at Rosehill 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
How's that work? Anyway, happy days.
I'm not sure. Look, I've taken $67 Fenway.
Yeah, why not?
That's about all I'll say.
Why not?
Look, Criterion seems to have been priced as if it's wet and it didn't really matter what he did the other day.
I think, as we all alluded to back then, he's
finally caught up.
He's caught up, you reckon? He still looks to me like he could be beaten up.
What tells you he's caught up?
Well, the preparation.
He ran into the race the other day and then he got beaten 4.5.
Yeah, but that to me said on that occasion he was 1,300 to 2,000. He was one runner away. That's my sort of angle to him. And then now that he's had the 1,300 metre run, the 2,000 metre run, last race of his career, kitchen sink.
Last race of his career.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm still on the are you beaten up or are you not beaten up? I'm on the I think you're beaten up.
The last 3 runs say he's beaten up.
Yeah, I'm
like running third in the Melbourne Cup appears to have killed him.
Yeah, I think that.
And I wouldn't be completely surprised if he's got. Yeah. I'm finding this race almost too hard to basket. Like Mark, you've got $67 Fenway. Look, I haven't done that, but Lucia Valentina coming out of the Coolmore was very strong late at 2,000, wet tracks, but is she good enough to win a Queen Elizabeth at Weight Parade?
Second up 2,000 metres, yeah.
United States.
It's different
Haraki, for barrier 14, I think he's going to have to give him too much of a start.
I think we, from what I saw from the obviously can be corrected from what we see in the yard, but from what I'm seeing, I think like last time Haraki was a long way behind early and then he caught up late. I think Haraki was a long way in front early and he's going to go backwards. He showed signs of going backwards last time and the way that he raced suggested it.
Okay, and it's Blue Colours Group 1.
It's Blue Colours Grand Final Group 1.
Could it somewhat be the...
It's Blue Colours Group 1.
No, but he looks as though he's got the... he could be back to his old role here.
Yeah.
Which in England was the... send-along pacemaker, and he ended up running third in a coral.
Well, all right. I mean, fair enough. I imagine that Labaz will take it up here because I haven't actually mentioned the speed. It somewhat comes across with him, and I imagine, would like to get one out, one back, because you've got Dibiani and Awesome Rock on his outside.
Well, Dibiani, the connections have indicated they're going to go back from the gate.
Okay.
So,
Right.
interesting to see how that
Oh, well,
pans
Nick
out.
Hall's on it. So, giving Nick all the licence to go back.
David said they're going to go back.
She will be back then.
Yeah. So look, I guess there's 3 there that are in the van. I had Fenway not too far away with Montgomery and Khan. Preferment.
I think Happy Clapper off a fast run mile up to the mile, not too far away.
No. He's actually got some really good form. Happy Clapper.
So I think he's eminently likeable, and I think Barrier 1 is awesome. For a 2,000 metre horse, jump. So for that start at Randwick, which is not a great start, jump there, bang, go to sleep, la-di-da, off you go.
That's the question. Does he go to sleep off the fast run mile?
That's the problem, and he
He
maybe.
doesn't look quite a fierce horse though. Like he's
He's not. I think, but I think if
But
he
he's generally in fast run races.
yeah. So, but getting cover early,
Does that just allow him to settle a lot closer?
Yeah, look closer, get a good run, and be okay. Yeah, why not?
Because in your Canterbury Stakes run, he was only beaten 2.5 lengths at 1,300 metres weight for age, and then he's been beaten by the freak 5 lengths.
Oh,
And
and
George Ryder when he wasn't.
good runs.
You can't say he was at his peak then, and now he's complete peak.
Yeah,
That's right. And he came Criterion when they met.
yeah.
Albeit at 1,300.
Yeah.
On a dry surface.
Yeah, I'd still prefer Happy Clapper very seriously rock hard though.
But I don't know which way to turn this race. Just prefer it. Just be better than him.
I
He's
could
won
be.
4 Group 1s.
Yep. Well, I'm United States on this horse. I've had a lot of opinion for a long time, and I think he's a very serious horse. And I think he raced flat the other day and was still able to win and still able to beat Haraki, and hence why Haraki got so close to him.
He was on the 7-day backup.
Yeah, 7-day breakup of a brutal run up the highway.
Oh, right. So you're saying he's better off this time.
Oh yeah, much better setup, and I think I think he is a machine who's ready to go. Boom. Preferment, yeah, of course, has to be in there. Rising Romance, Mark, didn't look a great run the other day, but
She didn't really get a lot of luck.
she was in the right spot. But as we often say about these inside tracks, is that and you have thought the same thing.
Yeah.
These inside tracks.
She was the overlook run of the of the BMW.
Yeah.
Well, and then the 3-year-old who fortunately has gone to Hong Kong.
Yeah. I thank God for that.
Montaigne.
Montaigne, yes. Look, it was a conveyor belt, that race that the Waller horses jumped onto, and Rising Romance missed the boat. The trouble with Rising Romance is she's one of those. She's got the curse of the Oaks winners. Like there's so many Oaks winners that they sort of struggle to win another race.
Yeah,
they run around. I can make a case.
But anyway, I think she's better than a 20-1 chance. And Fenway, I like everything you're saying. Happy Clapper, I think's right in there.
So look, it's an interesting race despite the lack of quality.
I think
it's Winksless, and I'm happy for that.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. It gives it a bit of a different dimension. Yeah. So I'm 5 from a bracket of Preferment, Fenway, Rising Romance, and Happy Clapper. How's that?
Very good.
All right.
Very
Anyone
good,
else?
Cal.
Lovely. Cool. Do I have to spruik anything? I don't think so. We mentioned all 8 team, of course. Across the board tournament. You know what to do. Up you go. Everyone's alive in the tournament. That's for sure. Sapphire Stakes, 1,200 metres. Bounding is favourite. Ahead of Gironte, Cradle Me, and Secret Agenda.
So Bounding gets to tag 2 Blue here, which looks a nice posse for her. Gironte can possibly get on her back, but out wider, Sultry Feelings looking for a position. And Secret Agenda, who came to us as a leader and didn't even bother participating last week. I'm not sure what the intention is there. She could certainly be one of the leaders, if so desired.
All right, PZ, we brushed the last race last time. Johnny Walter did, and he found a 100-1 winner.
It's a very even mares race. I was looking to Cradle Me as finally getting her opportunity to be a winning chance.
Well set up for the race.
In a third run this preparation, sort of gone 2 solid efforts with big weights, now gets down to the minimum. Should be genuine speed. Could be one of those horses finding those lanes real out wide.
Yep.
If the speed is on.
This is a definite
that slingshot
dog leg 1,200 metres, bingo out wide.
She probably doesn't want it too rain affected. If it is playing sort of sticky, it may dampen her chances. But if it is sort of on the better side of soft late in the day, I think that's sufficient. She just looks to be a mare in form. Like If you look at her last 4 runs, she was good in the Razor Sharp, she was good in the Canterbury Classic, both at this same track and distance, 1200 Randwick. She was good in the Winona Girl, giving away significant weight. Again, good last start beyond sultry feeling, and she just seems very honest. So, in a race that I found quite difficult, I was happy to sort of lean to her from Grionte, who is obviously coming back from a win at Group 1 level in the Galaxy. Back to mare's grade. I think she needs to be respected.
And another race that's hard to, the Galaxy you mentioned, another race that has no lead up, so it has no, and that's,
The funny thing
this is the tail end of it.
I know. It's a somewhat awkward race. We've got 2 runners from the Galaxy, and we've got 15 runners from the whatever the race is.
The birthday card.
The birthday card, which I'm anxious to get away from the birthday card, but the trouble with the Galaxy is you've got Bounding starting the shorter price. Grionte, who has now had 3 runs in Sydney, and they've all been really good. She won one of those mares races at Randwick.
Yeah.
And then she nearly beat Avoid Lightning, and she turns up here and wins the Galaxy. She seems a bit of a marvel.
She can go, yeah. Sure.
But her Melbourne record is so blah. Like she's had so many starts. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like
I
found her one day.
More like a
I
triple
found her
A.
one day at decent odds, and she ran 4th each way.
Right.
She just hasn't stopped winning.
27
since.
starts, 7 wins, 8 placings. It's, Anyway, look, it could be a perfect race for Bounding, but I'm
Bounding is just a yes or no from the yard.
Is she the like lawnmower effect Bounding? Is she just gone sort of too far?
No, she's just yes or no from the yard. She can behave well, or she carries on like an absolute slut, and a lot of the time it's slut. So yeah, I think it's she gives herself up in the yard.
okay. Look,
Anyway,
I'm
what
I'm perplexed.
about the yellow and blue Hickman colours? Oh, sorry, yellow, red and blue Hickman colours down the outside.
It's a setup
Brendan
for her.
Abdallah right down the outside
Set up
fence.
for her.
Up
If
you
they
come.
go- if they
Private
go
secretary.
quick,
20 to 1.
She's got
good
the
price.
ability to do it. 'Cause
Absolutely.
She's got a 300 metres turn of foot.
Wasn't
That
she
is
perfectly suited the other days?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
She's
She
had a
just
normal
didn't get
rail
it.
and like.
She's whatever. She's not much good. I'm sorry. She's got a good sprint, and this is the type of race that she can show it in. And she can just set up. I'm just thinking right down the outside lane, gun. Up we go. Last race of the day.
But you'll know a lot more for this race by race 3, because if it's all hard fence up that inside, well, you can basically pen sort of the cradle me's, the private secretaries and the like, because they're not going to get that right.
Beautiful. Anyway, well, that's the card. The one thing I think especially you and I, BZ, we'd hope it'd be a really good day for the blue colours. And that's not the blue colours of the Godolphin, it's the blue colours of Michael Thomas and Pat Webster. It'd be
nice to see Paddy win.
Pat Webster.
It's really. It wasn't
in a $4 million race.
It wasn't until I got into the race. I'm going. That's not a dumb idea to run this.
It just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, and when you look at the Doncaster runners that are running the Queen Elizabeth, because it's an odd sort of, it's an odd combination, Doncaster and the Queen Elizabeth, but they actually have performed very well.
That's right, exactly. 750 for second, 350 for third, 175 for fourth. Makes sense, and I think it's 80,000 down to 8th. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
I wish I had a horse going around it.
Yeah, I don't often say that, Brett, but I do. I would like to own one of those tomorrow. Good luck to all. Thanks very much. Jump on board of the products. If you're in the tournament, you're still well and truly alive. So make sure you've got rebuys ready to go. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.